There's a common belief that as we age, we should share everything with our family, every thought, every fear, every detail of our lives. But here's a quiet truth no one talks about. Sometimes, the best way to protect your peace is by keeping a few things to yourself. After 70, you've earned the right to privacy, not out of secrecy, but out of self-respect. Not everything needs to be explained. And not every concern needs to be opened up for judgment, opinions, or worry. So, what kind of things should you consider keeping private? What moments, choices, or thoughts are sacred enough to hold quietly? What topics, if shared, might invite stress or drama instead of support? In this video, we're covering 5 personal things that it's perfectly okay to keep to yourself, especially if you want to maintain independence, emotional clarity, and peace of mind in your golden years. These aren't tricks or betrayals, they're boundaries, and boundaries help you stay in control of your own story. Because living well after 70 isn't about being more open, it's about being more intentional. Let's talk about the power of silence, privacy, and knowing when to hold something close to your heart. Secret 1. Health fears you're still processing. The older we get, the more health concerns naturally come up. But not every ache, diagnosis, or worry needs to be shared immediately with your family. Sometimes you need space to sit with it yourself to absorb what it means emotionally, to weigh your next steps, and to speak with your doctor privately. That's not being secretive. That's being kind to yourself. Sharing too early, especially with concerned children or controlling family members, can turn your personal journey into a whirlwind of outside opinions, pressure, and even panic. Suddenly, everyone wants updates and decisions before you've had a chance to breathe. Maybe it's a symptom you're watching, a test result you're waiting for, or a new diagnosis you're still trying to fully understand. It's okay to take a breath. It's okay to wait. You're allowed to process privately. You don't owe immediate disclosure. You deserve time to think clearly without being overwhelmed by others' reactions. When you're ready, you'll know. But until then, give yourself permission to feel what you feel and learn what you need. Before you share, ask, am I sharing this because I'm ready or because I feel pressured? Your health, your rhythm, your right. Secret 2. Small financial decisions. Money is personal, always has been, and in families, it can become emotional fast, especially after you've reached retirement age. Maybe you've noticed it already. The moment you make a small purchase something just for you, a family member asks, do you really need that? Or worse, they imply you're being irresponsible with your own money. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your daily financial decisions. A new chair, a dinner out, a gift for a neighbor, or a donation to your church, that's your choice. Not everything is up for family discussion or approval. You've likely spent a lifetime being financially responsible, paying bills, raising kids, and helping others. So why now should small personal decisions be treated like big red flags? Of course, there's a time and place for transparency, especially around estate planning or major expenses, but small, everyday spending, that's your independence in action. Sometimes keeping those little money choices to yourself isn't about hiding, it's about preserving your freedom. Because once those details get shared, they often come with unwanted feedback, judgment, or interference. And when someone questions your autonomy, it can chip away at your confidence. You don't need that. So the next time you treat yourself to something simple and joyful, keep it between you and your smile. You've earned that peace. You're not reckless, you're experienced. And yes, you have every right to make your own decisions, big or small. Secret 3. Old regrets or personal history. We all have chapters in our past that we've turned the page on, mistakes we've made, relationships that didn't last, decisions we wish we could rewrite. And after 70, those memories don't just vanish. They become quieter, deeper, and more reflective. But here's what matters. You don't owe anyone your past. You are not required to unpack every regret with your children or re-explain every life choice to your family. Some things are simply personal, and keeping them private isn't dishonesty, it's self-respect. Often, when elders share painful memories with younger family members, it creates confusion, discomfort, or unnecessary weight. You may be processing something that doesn't need to be passed on. Not every story is a teachable moment. Some are wounds that healed over time, and reopening them can create more harm than good. You're allowed to reflect without reliving, to honor your story without retelling it. Journaling, prayer, or talking with a trusted confidant can help release these emotions without making your children the caretakers of your past. That's not their job, that's your healing. What matters most is the growth that came from those moments, not the details. And if you do decide to share, it should come from peace, not pressure. It should be on your terms, at your pace. You've earned the right to keep some things sacred. You are more than what you've been through, and you never need to justify the journey that brought you here. You're living proof that people can grow quietly, gracefully, and powerfully without needing everyone to understand how. Secret 4. Your private hobbies or routines. One of the quiet gifts of life after 70 is discovering or rediscovering little joys that are yours alone. Not for show, not for anyone else, just yours. It might be your morning coffee by the window, your afternoon knitting, a secret stash of mystery novels, or the crossword you refuse to miss. Maybe you take long drives with no destination or spend hours in the garden talking to your plants. Whatever it is, you don't need to explain it. These personal moments are like rituals. They ground you, calm you, and remind you who you are, outside of family roles and responsibilities. When others find out, they may not understand. They may question your time, make suggestions, or even tease you. That's not always harmful, but it can dilute your peace. So it's okay to keep these routines private, not out of secrecy, but out of protection, because once something becomes shared, it often becomes shaped by outside opinions. You're not hiding. You're honoring what brings you stillness. Your private joys are not wasted time. They are reminders that you still get to choose how you spend your moments. And that freedom? It's priceless. Secret 5. End-of-life preferences you're not ready to share. Let's talk about something tender. End-of-life decisions. Wills, medical directives, funeral preferences, spiritual wishes. These are some of the most personal choices you'll ever make. And it's perfectly okay to keep them private until you're ready. Yes, it's important to plan, but it's equally important to feel in control of when and how you share that plan. Some family members may ask too soon. They mean well, but their urgency can feel like pressure. If you're still processing your emotions or figuring out what you want, that pressure can feel overwhelming. These aren't just logistical tasks. They're reflections of your values, your beliefs, and your personal dignity. They deserve quiet thought, not rushed conversation. You might choose to speak with a legal, professional, counselor, or spiritual advisor before bringing family into it. That's your right. You don't owe anyone immediate access to your thoughts about life's final chapter. When the time is right, you'll share. And it will be from a place of clarity, not fear or guilt. Until then, take your time. This isn't about secrecy. It's about sovereignty. Your wishes are your own. And honoring them begins with giving yourself space to decide. We often think love means full access, that family means no secrets. But the truth is, healthy families are built on boundaries, not total exposure. Keeping a few things to yourself isn't cold or secretive. It's how you stay grounded in your own identity. It gives you space to reflect, to heal, and to decide what matters most. And when you protect your peace, you model something powerful, that self-respect is not selfish, it's necessary. You've earned the right to decide what you share and when. That choice is an act of love, both for yourself and for your relationships. If this video spoke to you, if it permitted you to hold a little more space for yourself, click the like button and subscribe for more content that supports strength, clarity, and independence after 60. Now it's your turn. What's one thing you choose to keep private that brings you peace? Drop it in the comments. Your wisdom could inspire someone else to set a boundary they've needed. This is a space for honest, empowering conversations. Because after 70, You're not fading, you're shining on your own terms. And you deserve to be heard just as you are.